It's fashion month, so I figure it's about time to tell y'all about the time I was an assistant to a celebrity stylist. This was definitely one of the most defining experiences I've had in my career, but not in the way that you might think. My first jobs out of college were in the tech industry because I was living in the Bay Area, but eventually I applied to grad school and I moved to New York City. All I wanted to do at that point in my life was to move to New York and to work in fashion. So eventually summer runs around, and one of the requirements of my graduate school program was that we had to have an internship. Like that was like a class that we were going to get credits for. So one of my favorite stylists was on Twitter at the time, and they had tweeted that they were looking for an assistant, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. Like this is gonna be the position, my summer internship position. This is like the perfect opportunity. Like I was so excited. I think I DM'd her, I emailed her, and it was crickets. Like I heard nothing from her. I don't know for how long, and I was starting to kind of get worried because I needed to have like proof of an internship for my school. So like it wasn't just that I needed this internship for my life, like I needed to show the school that I had something going on. So I can't remember the exact chain of events, but I know that eventually the stylist did reach out to me. I think they did answer my email, but like never set a time for an interview. Like it was just one of those things where like I wasn't getting clear direction and I didn't know what to do. But eventually I had to start looking elsewhere because the deadline was ticking and I did not have a job for the summer. So luckily I found a Black shoe wear designer that was trying to launch her own line of shoes, who needed like a digital strategy intern assistant person. And so I applied and I was able to get that job. And so I felt like, you know what, if I'm not able to, work with the stylist person, at least I have this job and it's within, my interests. It's with a Black woman. I felt like good about that decision, but I was still kind of feeling a little bit sad that I wasn't gonna be able to have the glitz and glamour of working and styling celebrities and all that. Just when I had given up at the prospect of working with this person, I saw her at a rooftop party I feel like it was Brooklyn somewhere, and I was just like, this is a sign. I had to like gear myself up to like introduce myself to this person and be like, I'm the girl that's been emailing you, like please give me an opportunity to work with you. So basically, long story short, I did end up going up to her. She did finally answer my emails and I did end up getting the job. But I had already committed to the job with the other person, the other shoe designer. So now I had a dilemma. And at that time, I think that girl, like I'm impressed with her because she just felt like she could do anything she put her mind to. She thought she could do it all. And so I told myself I'm gonna take both jobs because the opportunity with the shoe designer wasn't necessarily full-time. I think it was 3 times a week. Both positions were unpaid. I think working with the stylist, she was able to pay me like sometimes depending on the project we were working on, but like it was just understood that I wasn't gonna get regular pay. So I just felt like, you know what? It's summertime in New York. We're gonna get it. Like, let's get it. Let's do this. Whew, was that the beginning of the end, y'all? You might be able to guess what happened next. Somehow, miraculously, I was actually able to juggle both jobs during the summertime. I'm not saying I was juggling them well, but I was juggling both. I think going into the stylist job, I was very kind of naive about what it actually takes to succeed in the fashion world and how much work goes into like a photo shoot, just even styling like an award show. Like it's a lot of work. I felt super grateful to have 2 Black women take a chance on me when I had 0 experience in the fashion industry, just literally a passion for fashion. But like I was drowning. Not to mention I was probably one of the worst assistants ever. One of the hardest parts for me was, I think, just an ego thing. Like I was coming from a place where I was doing fairly well at my job. Like I wasn't bad at my job whatsoever. I actually was like moving up well, like I was getting a lot of praise from my bosses, but I just wasn't fulfilled there. And so coming to a place where like nobody gave a shit about like what I had to say, what I was doing, like literally bottom of the barrel. Like there were, people there that had gone to FIT and fashion schools and had been doing this since they were 18. And I was older than 18, okay? I was in my 20s, my mid 20s, and I basically was just starting from the bottom. There's even a girl who was like still in high school that I was working with. And so I just really was kind of questioning, like, am I supposed to be here? Like maybe fashion isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, because it was really, really difficult. At that point in time, I don't think I'd ever worked that hard in my life. Like I remember my birthday is in the summertime and I fell asleep in the club because of how tired I was. Like, we were working like 18+ hour days. It was wild. Like, I was like, what is going on? I had a very demanding boss that needed things done because, you know, a lot, you know, was on the line. A lot of important people needed her to be able to do her job, so she needed me to be able to do my job. So I was doing a lot of things where like the stakes were high, but I was also doing them for the first time. And it was like, I think the first time in my life that I failed so much. Like, I was used to excelling in school. Like, I was in grad school. Like, and this is like juxtaposed with me actually doing well in school. Like, I was doing well in school, then coming to work and like getting trashed because I was doing so poorly. When you're learning how to do something for the first time and you have to get it right that first time, yeah, y'all can imagine. If you've watched Devil Wears Prada, you could just imagine how that scenario went. And again, let me remind y'all that I had 2 jobs. I had another boss, and this other boss wasn't as demanding, but she still needed her shit done. Like, I was working my little butt off, okay? Like, I was like, man, like, I just really had always dreamed of doing this. And so I was basically killing myself trying to figure it out. The fashion industry is definitely not the kindest place, and I'm not gonna lie, I definitely questioned myself. I questioned my ability. I questioned whether I deserved to be there. I questioned whether or not this was a place that was for me. And it definitely took a toll on my self-esteem. There were days where like we were working with big time celebrities and I was literally like, it was taking everything in me to not break down from crying. Like, I would have to go to the bathroom because I just felt so like inept, like not inadequate. Like, I just felt like I was just so incompetent and I had never felt that way before. Like, something that I loved and, you know, was passionate about, and I just couldn't I couldn't get the hang of it. I just couldn't figure it out. So eventually I had to go back. Like, the summer internship part of the class was over, so I didn't have to stay. But, you know, I thought that, you know, I'm gonna figure it out, right? I have to figure this out. It's such a great opportunity. I had to end up quitting the job where I was working for the shoe designer, and I tried my best to stay on with the stylist while I was still in grad school. Eventually, y'all, I was about to fail out of grad school, and I already spent too much money to go back now. So I had to quit the stylist job. Like, I went to New York and I did not make it, so to speak. At least that's how I felt at the time. Like, I just really thought that this was going to be my dream, and I had failed. I had failed miserably. Like, I just felt like I came there, I worked my ass off, didn't really do well, didn't make an impact, and I had nothing to show for it. But now looking back, like, I worked for 2 Black women who were entrepreneurial, who were decided that they had worked for, you know, huge brands, magazines, huge shoe brands. Like, both of them in their own right were, you know, very talented people that decided that they wanted to do something on their own. And I had a firsthand look at what it truly takes to be a Black female entrepreneur and having to start something on your own. And that experience actually turned out to be invaluable for me because it plays into everything I had to do moving forward from those moments. I actually started Coco Swatches in New York, and that's actually where things took off for me. And I think I was just in the hustle mode of like, you know, this is just the type of work that you have to do. If I hadn't worked so hard with those women who took a chance on me, I wouldn't know how much work it actually was going to take for me to be successful at what I do now. Like, since I started Coco Swatches, I've launched an app, I've launched a foundation finder, I have my own beauty brand, I've been the faces of other beauty brands. Like, I've been putting in work. Like, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I've been putting in work. But it's only because I learned that that's what you have to do, and I knew that that was an expectation, especially, like I said, being Black, being a woman, trying to be in an industry that doesn't necessarily always feel like they want you there. Those lessons, that work ethic, those experiences were invaluable. I don't like to be like that positive person that is very annoying, that's like, everything happens for a reason and, you know, just keep at it. Like, I feel like I like to be realistic with the advice that I give, because I know that some days, like, you're not feeling like everything happens for a reason, you're not really feeling like everything's working out. But I think in some weird way, God's way, whoever you believe in, things do happen for a reason. And I think that sometimes failures are really lessons, and I'm still learning. Like, I'm not gonna pretend I made it. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't still have goals and dreams and things I want to achieve. But I'm reminding myself, and I think it's just a message for whoever needs to hear it, that, you know, if there are experiences that maybe you have regrets about, because I regretted that for a long time. I was like, should I have quit? You know, should I have done this? Like, maybe I should have stuck it out longer. Maybe I should have just forgotten about school and concentrated on that if that's what I wanted to do. But now that everything has come full circle, I know that that was just the right thing to do for my life. I didn't really talk too much about what it actually means to be a stylist. If anyone's wondering, if you have questions, if you want me to get more in depth about what I actually did as a stylist assistant, and you know, I was like, I was her personal assistant, stylist assistant. Like I said, helped out with social content, helped out with social strategy. If anyone has questions about that, let me know. We can do a part 2, but this has already been a long video. So yeah, I'll leave you with that hopefully positive piece of anecdote of my life. Thanks for listening.